Good morning, grasshoppers. It is the usual struggling with the stream while traveling. I have isolated a few of the problems. We're doing pretty well here on average. Went back to a slightly old favorite setup featuring offer spiel, chess informant. Where is my... Whoop. Oops. I have a small problem. 1 second here. As I set up the chat on the correct side, I can't see the chat. But let's get at least one thing into the chat before we forget, just to make sure that it's working. A word from our sponsor, Chess Informant.
Check.
And
Check.
perhaps even 152.
Check.
Oh, I see. And there's one more thing that it's got to go. The lead chess sound has to go. Because you're getting an echo. I imagine you're getting an echo. Let's do a little bit lower on the sound until I add a set of headphones. That is what is missing. I'm going to cross our fingers that these headphones work. I left my primary computer at another location, not knowing or not realizing what I had done, of course. Let's see what I'm connected to for a moment. Good. It's not that one. Stream looks good. Can't believe it. All right. And we've eliminated the sound issue. Hopefully the microphone issue is okay. Desktop audio coming up next. As you are no longer hearing the board sounds in duplicate. Oh, maybe the desktop audio is okay. It's just that emergency to a certain extent. Ah, c'est la vie. So we have Bat General. Uh-oh. Am I going to take my licks from Bat General? And am I going to deal them out? And hey, thank you for testing the sound of 1801. Pegasus. There I am, yes. If the internet were more reliable everywhere here, especially on the phone / roaming, I believe I wouldn't mind streaming IRL. What's going on here? Oh, let's close that. I believe that I'm hoping the sound of the desktop is okay. And going in the background on this particular computer. I'm just happy that everything out best. So we have, that was a tough, I might have taken on B5 first. But he is, yeah, I don't think that Bat General should be able to win this. He has a dark squared bishop. His king is locked out. King is going to have to travel around, very much around. Uh-oh. What did white do? This is not good. For black, that is. What did black do with knight c7 thing? To a certain extent. And the king could keep the king from coming in. So just a few short moves ago, this game could not be lost. Go back in time for just one moment. These two are relative powerhouses as far as strength goes. If I were white and I were trying to win this particular game, I would have taken on b5 here in order to increase the possibility, but it doesn't look like it changes anything. The c4 might be met by b4, or c takes b4, and we still have no way in. So as it turns out, it doesn't seem to matter. So in this particular position, the king did not have to move in. I'm going to change our sound effects because the checking sound is not necessarily all that great. Or is it? Yeah, we'll leave it for now. Turn down the sound just a little bit. Just to keep it from being too rude. Or maybe we can turn down the desktop sound. Check that. Yeah, that might work. Usually I have sound around just over 1/3 of the volume that it normally is. And now, which is at its maximum. We'll cross our fingers that this is good enough. And head back to Sam Shankland's birthday. We'll check that game again later. Bat General versus Ben Tennyson. That was rather rough, Ben. And I got a full point buy to sort of acclimatize. I apologize for the lighting. This table's facing away from the window, so we have a little bit of a silhouette. We are working on it, though. Slowly. And my wife is on the correct side of the bed, so she won't be walking past at the wrong moment. How are you doing, hon? Oh, the shower was so good this morning. It was very important to change locations. And, believe it or not, the internet seems to be holding up quite well. Quite well. Yesterday, I don't know if anyone caught it on Twitter, but in Los Angeles, Nemsko attempted an IRL stream, and the police came and shut her down. And you'd think that you could be able to stream chess anywhere, but her setup actually looks rather professional, and I'm positive that for her particular setup, she needed a permit in Los Angeles. And she didn't understand why, and most of her viewers did not understand why she couldn't stream playing chess in the park or playing chess on the in public. But in the film capital of the world, Los Angeles, if you can imagine, should they let just anyone start filming or streaming for any particular reason, this will be a problem in short order. No doubt about it. They cannot let anyone stream. And most of the streamers have now learned a lesson, including myself, as far as that goes. Because I did think about Los Angeles. I did think about doing an IRL stream. Some of the family has not been to Los Angeles, and I definitely recommend the Warner Brothers Studio Tour, which I wasn't entirely sure I'd be able to film either without permission. But it's very amusing that she ran the gauntlet for the rest of us, and we all learned the lesson through her unfortunate endeavor. I couldn't think of a funnier person for it to happen to, who can take it very well anyway. Anybody else? Can you imagine Daily Dasher? I wonder if Daily Dasher has done Los Angeles. What do you think? Nico, good morning. Hagai, good morning. Sorry, my the other stream is lacky. Let me check my drop frames. We don't have as good of an internet connection. I wasn't able to set up my normal routine, but I will do some adjustments here in the Streamlabs just to see if I can fix it before we go any further. There was a great article in the Financial Times. I believe it was yesterday. It could have been today. Written by Jennifer Shahade on the Hans Niemann Magnus Carlsen cheating scandal. Unfortunately, she didn't add anything to the conversation. She added absolutely nothing to the conversation. It was really sad that nothing was gained by her article. I do seem to have one more USB port to try a different camera. Let me try that. But the other camera, I believe, was part of the problem. Create a resource hub. I don't want to be there. If I could shut down Streamlabs while I am streaming, this would be great. Who are they? Exactly. Everyone in the world now knows who Han and Magnus are, whether they like it or not. Quite crazy. All right, where are my settings? Looks like I dropped some more frames. But it's making the effort that counts, to be honest. Streaming. Automatically record while streaming. Keep recording when stream stops. Yada, yada, yada. Just checking the main general one. Someone suggested setting an absolute frame rate rather than having it on auto. Another person suggested not dual streaming to YouTube, which is still my preferred method. And apparently I did not realize that at one time it was illegal or against Twitch policy to stream to both devices. Interestingly enough, desktop audio device. So I'm using some fitness earbuds as a default since I'm missing my normal routine. HDMI Intel display audio. Let's do that. Oh, wait. I don't want more than one default device. Let me disable that one. We don't have a duplicate sound. And then we'll go with the HDMI audio. And we will go back to watching Bat General just to make sure that we have desktop audio because there's no sound at the moment. Bat General versus Ron Hay. 15 frames per second, max 30 frames per second. That's a great suggestion. I'm going to check it out 1 second as soon as I get out my Ron legendary stream and give a quick shout out to Tapas New Chess, who noticed my Palau pics on Instagram. I'm positive that there's an equivalent Indian dish to the West Indian dish. And I do want to thank you guys for following me on Instagram and Twitter. I know Hagai is there as well. Oops. If I could spell it correctly. I should actually have an abbreviation for it. Oops, my keyboard is not responding the same. Took a selfie with Tal today. Nice. Tal Shaked or Mikhail Tal in the Moscow. Oh, because you're in Latvia. You are in Riga. Oh my God, I'm so jealous, man. If I hit Eastern Europe, you are the guy to see. I was tied once I hit 12. Tired? No worries, Kingslayer Sloan. Let's see if that worked. I like to type very fast, and the keyboard does not respond as fast as I type. So let's try this again. Socials. If I don't solve this issue with the frame rate, then I'm going to have to switch up something. I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to switch up just yet. Studio mode. Where's my settings again? Going back to my settings. Hopefully the sound is better. I don't necessarily know that it is without having music in the background. The desktop audio, that is. Video, here we go. Output. I'm going to check to see what I can do for Hagai instead of having it on auto, which is extremely dangerous, right? Video bitrate, audio bitrate, yada, yada, yada. Replay buffer. Wait a minute now. That doesn't seem to be it. Go to video settings. And base canvas, base output, base scale, common FPS values. Why are these grayed out? Because I have auto set elsewhere. That's why I have these. We're going to fix the disable hardware acceleration. I've always been curious about that, disabling hardware acceleration, because my computer, this particular traveling computer, is a little old. Disable live streaming features, recording only mode. Let's get down here. Source alignment, snapping, yada, yada, yada. All right, I need the stream general settings. And we are looking at 2 bishops versus, and that's a free bishop on b5, by the way. Very unfortunate. There's a free bishop on b5 for Ron Hay. Thank you very much. Queen being threatened, mate being threatened. Not cool. Is there a way out? Bishop to f6. Queen to c5 check. And queen to e7. Bishop f6. Queen to d6 check. Queen to e7. Rook to b8. King to g7. Queen to g3 check. Bishop to g5. That general goes down. The threat for anyone who is not necessarily watching was the fact that queen to h8 was rather unfortunate, or fortunate, depending on how you look at it. So what I was looking at was the immediate counterattack with queen f6. All of this could lead to ultimate devastation, even if the bishop were captured. Queen to d6 check. The only way to save the queen and the and get out of check would be queen e7, then rook to b8 check, king to g7, queen to g3 check, and now the unfortunate problem is that queen to g8 check is going to be made. So the bishop has to block again, or at least throw itself in the way, and the move h4 will be winning a piece and will just be up too much material, with white having everything except for the c2 pawn protected. And that will be fatal. Meanwhile, back at the ranch. Let's refresh our screen. See what's going on. I apologize for the poor or lackluster video and or the drop frames. So far we haven't dropped any frames. Again, or it only checks every 2 minutes and it hasn't given me its 2-minute report. You cannot change some of these settings while live. Fascinating. Try these advanced settings. Process priority. Process priority. I'm going to move it down to normal. Believe it or not, I'm going to move it down to normal for the process priority. Audio monitoring device should be default. Recording, replay buffer, stream delay, not enabled. Automatic reconnect, got it. 10-second retry, got it. Sources, if anybody knows what I'm looking at, it was game 13, just a bit of bad luck. Oh, it was game 13. And Ron beat Nico 13-0. He is working on the double adoption. There should be an emote for double adoption. There should. All right, we're going to return to viewing Ron Hay versus Brian Cesar Gomez while we hurdle before we actually start playing, because this becomes a really serious abortion. And yes, it is legal in Streamlabs. We're going to have to work on it. Virtual webcam, yada, yada, yada. Advanced, scene collections, notifications. I don't see what I'm looking for. Thank you for the follow. Hammy is watching. Namaste. Normally, I have chat in a slightly different location. I'm not entirely sure why. Oh, it's this particular computer. That's why. Let's see if I can change the chat location so that I can read and keep up with you guys and change the settings at the same time. Which is a little bit of a trick. Chat highlights. New. Oh yeah. Forgot about the chat highlights. New. This really helps. So we're doing a little bit of an IRL stream, although it's not necessarily walking about just yet from Trinidad. I am overcoming some hurdles here. I should put it in the stream title, just to let people know, because it doesn't look like it's 5+5 with viewers at the moment. That's going to have to do. So advanced settings. Make sure that the other one doesn't change. Got to change the Twitch TV description for my previous IRL stream. No. And this is going to change it on YouTube as well, interestingly enough. How clever is that? And I think I can update this one. It is with viewers. It's just without you. Trinidad stream with viewers. Exactly. I'm not able to play with viewers until I solve this issue. Let's check our drop frames again. At least I entered the tournament, so I can always get in past the halfway mark. The lab cam is live on this particular computer. That's awesome. I'm not entirely sure how the collab cam works. I cannot wait to find out. So we have gone 10 minutes without dropping frames. Yoo-hoo. That's good. Still looking for the frame rate, but I think we may or may not have hurdled it. We might be okay. I'm looking at all of the settings, rechecking everything. Webcam, this, something that. These are the mixer. Emote wall should be working. Let's give it a go. Make sure. I haven't been on this computer in so long, I don't even know what emote's going to come up. Oh, all the MCD emotes. Let's do it. We'll give all the MCD emotes a shot. Well, all the good ones anyway. The personalized ones. We'll see if they are dancing about the screen. Make sure the emote wall is working. Good. Emote wall is working. One step at a time, everybody. Advanced audio mixer. Let's close that again. The alert box is working. Sound alerts are working. There's a lot of good happening in this particular stream. Let's see what good is happening in Ron's game. The clash is on e4. The battle for the white squares. The outposted knight on e5. Certainly a good thing for Caesar. And now a little bit of piece relocation. Where can this knight go? Looks like all of white's pieces are doing pretty well. We just don't have an open line for the rooks. Pawn on e4 appears to be falling. Did we have a choice in the matter? It doesn't look like we had a choice in the matter, does it? As far as the knight on c3 was undermined. The pawn on f3 is still defended, so this buys us some time to start focusing on the king. Maybe rook on h to e1. Maybe bishop to g5 to threaten to remove the defender. Open up the center file. Bishop to h6, of course, is out of the question. g4 seems to be a very logical possibility as well. The drawback is that e takes f3 wins a piece if recaptured. E takes f3, knight takes f3, h takes g4 fork. For those of you watching, I was just discussing g4, e takes f3, knight takes f3, and h takes g4 with a fork on those two unfortunate creatures. So another knight wields its way around. This is not so bad for white. White's going to have to start playing with a little bit more enthusiasm here. Going to get anything rolling. Rolling, rolling, rolling. Rawhide. So it looks like now we can play g4. Because e takes f3 can be met by knight on g takes f3. And h takes g4 can be met by knight takes g4. And the king is caught in the center. And that's what white is actually playing toward. Still white castles. Brian is on. He's cooking with sterno instead of a... Uh-oh. Recapture with the pawn because queen takes ran into bishop h6. g4 was probably absolutely required. Knight takes g4, queen takes g4, bishop h6 is met by g5. We need to shut some things down here. Black is breaking. The e4 pawn is now falling to multiple things. Bishop on b7 is now in the game. This is b7, by the way. For all of you intents and purposes, I'll do a quick clip on how to navigate the chessboard notation. The white queen starts on a white square, and the black queen starts on a black square. So therefore, the centermost file for the queen will be the D file, which is nice because in most languages, the D file and Dama for queen, Dom, depending on whatever romantic language you would like to view or talk about or discuss. This gains time on the rook so that the pawn on e4 can be... Ouch. Oh, that was painful. Not sure why we're playing on against a player of Ron's stature. I do happen to like this old layout. I may have to go back to it. I called this layout the Passion layout. Not for any religious reasons, but for the fact that I enjoy studying the world chess champions. Spassky showing now. Zizek in order. Carlsen is, however, fallen from favor rapidly and dramatically. This, unfortunately, is a little bit like shooting ducks in a barrel. Wait, is there any counterplay? No. My apologies to Brian Caesar for showing that game. It's unfortunate, but we will do some more. If you wish to join the dojo before you go, please follow, or please join the dojo with, you may enter this event on any particular day. And I suggest that you test yourself regularly and give yourself a finite number of games to study. So throughout the week, we have a 6-game Swiss. Very often someone's late, so they have a half-point buy. They're guaranteed at least 5 games. But you don't play the same player twice, so you get a lot of versatility in learning, especially if you want to address opening questions. How you handle the transition from the opening to the middle game, and the transition from the middle game to the end game across different styles of opponents. To play in an arena, and this is what I've had, especially my main reservation, when you play in an arena that is small, then you will play the same players over and over and over again, which is unfortunate. There's nothing to be done about that. Next up, if you wish to check the schedule events or even the birthday calendar. What happened to Ron? Hey, wait just a moment here. Oh, we're still watching the old game. Or are we? Yeah, there's still a few games going on. Ron Hay got a full point buy because of me. Let's see if we can tackle it, since we haven't gotten any warnings on dropped frames in the last few minutes. Let's get a few games in before this thing ends. And our coup is in, thankfully. Started the tournament rather roughly with a full point buy after a half point buy. Many players have dropped out, as it turns out. So we're down to a bare minimum, so my entry may keep this tournament alive. If you've not yet joined the tournament, I may need to extend the number of rounds for you to be able to join the tournament. So for example, 91 rounds. Now others may join the tournament. I will give the tournament link in the chat. You might need to join the dojo before you can do so. Please join the event. 5+5 is actually very close to a 12 or 15-minute game. It's 5 minutes for each player, which adds up to 10. And then every time you move, you get 5 seconds back. So every 12 moves, that's a full minute. And if you go 30 moves, that's 3 minutes. That's already a 16-minute game for both players because each player is gaining those 3 minutes. Many players tend to move too quickly. Who do we have here? Let's watch Nico versus Anarku. Mr. Rizev is in Turkey. Nico currently visiting Tal and the many ghosts of Tal in Riga, Latvia. I have to check out his Instagram. I'm hoping he posted the picture. You could also join the Discord. I'm a much bigger believer in the general social media than I am absolutely Discord, but Discord is discussing very specific matters. Someone's down a piece. Why are we down a piece? How did this happen? I need to go back in time to discover this. What of truth? Each side has 3 minor pieces here. Pawn attacks knight, knight g5, knight h3 is probably pretty important. Now the rook and the bishop and the knight are hanging. No. So we guard 1 but lose the... Why aren't we all of our pieces? So in this particular position, instead of the move a4, I would recommend the move d3 followed by knight on b to d2. Or might consider the immediate occupation of d5 by bum rushing. Knight c3, d5. Moving the same piece twice in this particular position, we're going to have to centralize our knight. Knight to g5 is a little out to pasture. We're going to have to always centralize our pieces. So note for Nico, chess praxis by Nimzovich, since you happen to be in Riga. Nimzovich has a Latvian connection. Study chess praxis, the centralization chapter, which has about 10 games in it. Now, studying older players' games are not really always worthwhile. Oh, John. Game 232, perhaps, yes. But Pegasus has this strong Swedish resolve that I do not have as a weak, lazy, unambitious American. It is our cultural pride and current claim to fame that we strive for mediocrity. Right? We're really just striving for mediocrity the whole way. So definitely centralization. Let's see where we are in this particular game. Down a piece. We don't seem to have made anything happen, but we have a protected passed pawn on b5 at least. NRQ is not in time trouble yet, but that is usually NRQ's, Mr. Rizov's downfall. I'm going to head back to see what other games are still going. Pat General versus Brian Caesar. Brian's doing better on time this event. Certainly we're going to have to get our bishop out. I don't mind a move like bishop to e6. To try to stave off some of these things. Queen to a5. to c6, that's off the card. Queen to a5, almost the only move. And Bat General's been thinking for a little while. We're going to find out what he thinks of the position in just a moment. Yep. Indeed. It is looking like it. So I do like that the chat is covering up the most recent follower. Where are you from? Hammy is watching, by the way. Where are you from? My chat box is so far away. Please check out our dojo. We run slow events on the weekends, occasionally on the weekday afternoons, depending on what student classes are going on. Not sure where that queen is going to go on bishop to g5. That is the question. We may have to lose a bishop. And trade queens. Bishop g5, bishop h6, bishop f6, bishop takes d2. But at least after bishop to g5, maybe queen to g5. Sorry, bishop to g5, queen takes d4. The queen is not trapped. So where can the knight go? The pawn on d6 is very weak. Wow. Black remarkably has a good position, despite what looks like an interestingly resourceful attack by white. No, you can't move the knight. That will tax your playing ability. All right, let's see who we get. Will I get Ron? Has Ron played both Nico and Bat General? Game number 232 coming up. Woo! I did manage to finish with 1.5 points in 4th place. What a miracle, everyone. That was a lot of hard moves on my part. That was quite crazy, don't you think? Meanwhile, yes, I am streaming from Trinidad. This was probably one of the shortest arenas ever. It is quite crazy. That this could have happened. But I want to thank most of you for being here. But a pawn was. Wait, did you actually win that one, Nico? Did the b5 pawn prevail? We were going to look at it. We were definitely going to be looking at it. Well, I tried to lengthen the tournament for more players to enter. It didn't work, as it turns out. C'est la vie. So, out earlier in the tournament, I wanted to look at Bat General's game with Ben, somewhat important, only for the reason that I didn't think that it was that losing for the knight. The knight was covering a lot of valuable squares, and there was no way in for the king. On to Nico's game. Bat General versus Ben. In this particular instance, very normal game. I love getting d5 in. Black is in the driver's seat for the most part in the opening. With the better pawn structure, white has the 2 bishops. Now white has 7. Now white has equal pawn structure. But black has more pieces. Not sure what that move was doing. Getting through to the endgame. These guys got into a bishop versus knight. And in this particular what do we have? Breakfast is being served on. Is it a buffet? So I should go down. So here we are. This is the position that I was questioning, right? We're going to turn on the engine.